What's going on, guys? Bobby from the Urban Outlaw coming back at you with another video, and I hope everybody's day is going well. This is going to be a short video, simple, and it's going to be a breakdown and field strip of the Smith Wesson M&P Shield 9mm Performance Center 2.0. This is my everyday carry gun. I've told you guys about that in the previous video, but we're going to do a field strip and basically some tips on cleaning and just everyday maintenance on the gun. So let's get started. All right, first and foremost, you want to make sure you are unloaded and there is nothing in the chamber. So magazine is out. Let's lock the slide back with the slide stop and check the chamber. There's nothing in it, so we can get started. So the first thing you want to do when you're breaking this gun down to field strip it and clean it is you need some sort of a I use a pen or a like one of those plastic picks that you get in one of the firearm kits. So you're aiming for this small yellow lever inside the firearm that basically disengages the trigger. So let me show you guys that. So you push that lever forward, and I will be able to show, I don't know if it'll show, yeah, so it kind of shows. Let me see if there you go. So that little lever with the bend in it that's pushed forward into the magazine well, that is up against the back of the firearm. So you take your pick or your pen and you push that lever forward for step one. Now, I'm going to spin this firearm around and I'm going to show you your takedown lever, which is right here. And you want to rotate that down. So that is rotated down. And now I'm going to flip the firearm again around and I'm going to show you, you can take your slide stop. You can either let the slide fly forward, but I wouldn't advise you doing that because there's some recoil force from the spring. So you basically hold the slide back, let the slide go forward with the slide release, and the trigger assembly and your slide barrel and recoil spring come apart. So let me show you this. There is your slide barrel and recoil spring there. First, I should say next step, we are going to take the spring off. So you basically push this spring in to relieve some of the tension and it will jump out of its little set place, the little set notch that it has, and you can remove your recoil spring. So now the trigger assembly and the recoil spring have been taken off. The next step, we're going to push our barrel forward. So you take this and you can push this forward and your barrel will come forward on the rail and you can push or pull it back out. So here is your barrel out of the firearm and we can set that aside. Now you are left with the slide. So here is the striker mechanism in the back. And this is the slide that you basically, there's not much real cleaning involved in this. You basically want to wipe out all of the carbon deposits, give it a good scrub, give the two railings in here a good scrub around the striker mechanism in the back, and then just wipe it out. And you don't need to oil the slide because we are going to oil the, when you put the gun back together, you don't oil the slide railings themselves. These two railings do not get oil on it. So let me show you guys very simply how this comes apart, and it's not very, there's not a lot of moving parts, as you can see. That's it. That is all your moving parts. Your spring, your barrel, your slide, and your trigger assembly. That's about it. Now, when you go clean this, obviously the barrel, you want to give a good scrubbing to the front. You want to basically clean from the front. So clean from this end forward. The feed ramp is going to get carbon deposits. It's as the bullets come up the ramp and they get loaded into the chamber. You want to scrub that pretty good until you can basically see how that polished metal. That's because it's going to be black after you've taken it for a day at the range. So make sure you can see that polished metal again, and it's scrubbed out nice. So that's it for that. Now, when it comes to the recoil spring, there's not much you realistically need to do. About once every 3 weeks, I will take a patch and wipe it out, or I should say wipe around the recoil spring, just to get the carbon deposits off of it, because it doesn't really get too dirty. And maybe once a month, I will put a singular drop of oil in the middle of it, and that's about it. Now, your trigger assembly, you don't really need to clean the magazine well too much. Just kind of a good wipe out every once in a while is a good thing. So these ramps here, or these tracks in the back and in the front are going to have carbon deposits. So whatever firearm cleaner you decide to use, scrub those up good, give them a wipe down, and then that's going to be it. Now, when you put this back together, it is very, very simple. So we'll start that process right now. So we're going to take our slide first. We're going to put what we need to the barrel and the recoil spring back in the slide, and then we're going to mate the trigger assembly and the slide together, and that'll be it. So first, we're going to take our barrel and put it back into the slide. So we line it up, and you lay it in place, and then you want to make sure that you push it back so it sits against the back of the slide where it's cut out. There's a cutout, and it will literally lay into place. So there's your barrel back in place. Your recoil spring is colored. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Hold on, let me see if I can. Where is it? All right, there we go. Okay, here. So that orange color on that recoil spring goes towards the front of the firearm. So we put the orange coloration into the spot where the recoil spring was taken out of. And now we can depress the spring, push it forward, and it will fall into its set groove. So you take a little tension off the spring, you push it forward, and it will sit in the groove that there is cut out for it. So now your slide is assembled again. So we're going to take the bottom half of the firearm and the top half and put them back together. So here we go. There's cutouts on the back of the slide, and they run all the way up through the front of the firearm. So we are going to take the back of the slide and line it up with the two ramps on the front, like so. Excuse me, guys. This is kind of a little difficult to get a hold of. There we go. So the front two ramps are on. You line the back up as well, and then you push the slide back, lock it back with the slide stop on the other side. I'll show you that. There is your slide stop there. You push the slide back, lock it back, and here is your takedown lever, which has been pushed down the whole time. We are going to take that and rotate that back in place. Let's flip the firearm back around. And you can take the back of the slide, let it fall forward, once again, I will show you that there is nothing in the gun because we are going to function check this gun. So the final step after the firearm is put back together is we need to take that pen or pick that we had, and as you can see, that little lever is still pushed down in the firearm, which basically disengages the trigger. So we need to take that and push that back in place, and I'm going to do that right now, and I'll show you what that looks like. So that you cannot see that lever. So now the that little trigger, that trigger stop has been released. So now we're going to take the firearm and we can function test it now to make sure it works. We're going to let it slingshot forward, point the gun in a safe direction, and once again, make sure that there's nothing in it, and you can function test the firearm. Trigger goes off, pull it back, let the trigger reset, pull it again. Function test complete, firearm disassembled, cleaned, oiled, reassembled back together successfully. That is the Smith & Wesson 2.0 Shield in 9mm. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate you watching. Stay humble, stay ready, shoot straight, and I'll see you next time.